This is the Archie Miller Show, an inside look at Dayton Flyers basketball through the eyes of the coach. Now, here's your host, Mike Hartsock.
Hi again, everybody, and welcome to the Archie Miller Show. A season full of basketball comes down to 1 week in the regular season coming up. But before we get to talking about that, Coach, let's talk about a big win for the Flyers yesterday against a UMass team that arguably is one of the top 30 teams in the country. They're really good.
Well, they've had an amazing run of it. You know, you take a look at their non-conference schedule, what they did. I mean, that alone puts them in an upper echelon tier of teams for the NCAA tournament. They were coming in off, I believe, 3 in a row with wins at GW and also beating VCU at home. So that team came into Arena a few years ago when Chaz Williams and those guys were sophomores. They're now all seniors, and they're very talented. It's going to be a fast-paced game. We knew that. But I was happy to see our guys bounce back. They continue to just grind away here at the season, and it was probably one of the best environments in the arena we've had.
Yeah, 11 a.m. start at the arena yesterday. I'm sure as a coach you're not crazy about 11 a.m. starts, but the atmosphere was really good.
The atmosphere was is good, and it's been great all year. But yesterday it felt like a March game. You know, it's one of those games with a lot on the line, and without the arena, it's not possible to beat a team like UMass. So. And our kids fed off it. I thought we had a great energy, especially in the second half. Did a great job of getting back and stopping them a little bit more than we did in the first. And then offensively, I thought we had a great stretch there. And then able to pull away and finish it off at the foul line.
You mentioned Chaz Williams, their point guard. He's the guy that makes everything go for the Minutemen. And Kari Price just did a heck of a job defensively.
Yeah, I give Kari a lot of credit. You know, he's really been struggling with his knees here of late. He had a really rough go, at St. Joe's. And we talked when we got back from St. Joe's, and I feel like he had another burst in him. We talked about that. Give it all you have here. You know, he worked out hard for 2 days and didn't worry about, what the consequences were going to be. And he prepared to play. I thought he did an excellent job on the ball. He defended all those ball screens really well. Chaz is a very tough cover. He's probably a 3-time all A-10 point guard. So give that kid credit. He was a big reason why we won.
All right, out we go to the UD Arena yesterday morning as the Flyers trying to make something happen early on, and shooting it from the outside and knocking in the three was Deshaun Pierre, then coming on the run. I thought this is what Devin Oliver did really well yesterday.
He did a great job. You know, his line is one of those lines that, the 4 assists, the 1 turnover, the 9 rebounds. He made guys better. You know, he's a difference maker for us.
Jordan Seibert continues to shoot the ball at a very high level. V. Sanford coming off the bench, and there's Devin, way outside for 3.
Really nice pass by V. Spacing was good. And, Devin's just a much improved player.
Sanford was able to get in the lane. That's one thing you were able to do against them, is get some points in the lane.
Well, they're a lot more extended than some teams. They're really long. They use their length, and they have a shot blocker in there at the rim. So, I thought we were going to be able to get the ball off the dribble to the paint. We just had to make good decisions.
Here it is, off the dribble, just shy of the paint. V. Sanford pulling up and knocking one down, and then Deshaun Pierre getting the roll on a nice little soft shot.
Yeah, we wanted Deshaun to be aggressive. He's in a little bit of a slump here in the last 4 games. We needed him to be very aggressive.
There he is on the backside after a Seibert miss, putting it up and in. UMass, though, with a 4-point lead at this point in the game, kick it outside to Pierre, and Deshaun had 11 points in the first half.
And it was good to see him, take some outside shots. I think teams are really protecting themselves on the dribble. And, he needed to make it.
They come down, knock down a couple of threes, take a 7-point lead on you about inside of 5 minutes left to play, but then Seibert comes back and gets one of those
We
back.
weren't getting back very well, and I thought, in the last 3 minutes of the first half were really important. Jalen gave us a big burst on the glass, and I thought we did some good things getting back and get some stops at the end of the half.
It's been a big week for Jalen Robinson, playing real well coming off the bench. Here they get you on a fast break inside of 2 minutes to play. It's a 5-point ball game at this point, but here comes Jalen working hard down low again, gets it to go.
Yeah, he's been a little bit more comfortable. One thing he's offensively he's talented. He needs more time, and I think, with what we've done, he's earned the right to kind of in this past week get in there.
And V. Sanford goes coast to coast to lay it up and in, and what was a 7-point deficit at one time, you go into the locker room down by only 1, had to feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, that last 3 minutes kind of gave us a big boost. I thought defensively, the last 3 minutes we were better. We got some stops, and that got us out into transition, kind of got us a couple more easy buckets, and Jalen had a couple good stretches in there.
What were you trying to do against Chaz Williams, the way he handles this team?
Well, one of the things about those guys is they're very one-on-one oriented. So if he doesn't have it, the next guy's probably going to be trying to play one-on-one as well. So the big deal was to try to keep as many bodies in front of Chaz as we could. You know, we didn't want to get spread out and in rotation because I thought they would be able to drive the ball and get on the glass. So what we tried to do is kind of contain him, you know, corral him as much as we could, make him a passer. He's difficult to do that, but I thought for the most part that worked out well for us.
All right, let's take you back out to the University of Dayton Arena for second half as the Flyers looking to grab the lead, and you do that 15 seconds in on a cyber three.
Really good execution there, and then, you know, this is another just a great turn down. Jordan with the big bucket out of the first 4 minutes of the second half was really the key to the game.
Take another look at this one. Now, I guess we're not going to take another look at it. Now down low it goes inside, and Pierre gets the turnaround jump, and you go up by 8 points at this point.
Yeah, we consistently, I thought, for the first, 8, 9, 10 straight minutes in the second half, we consistently scored, which you have to do against UMass, and, it was enough. Great
feed there from Curry to Jordan Seibert, moving the ball around the defense, and very active. There's Deshaun Pierre missing the tip up, and finally it goes in.
Good effort by Jalen, getting his hands on a couple balls there is good to see.
Jalen Robinson working hard inside. Then V. Sanford coming off the dribble and gets the basket and the fouls. The Flyers continue to pound the ball inside against their big man.
There's a big basket there by V.
Loose ball here. This is a big basket. Hustle, and then the one-hand jam.
So many times that first to the floor, that loose ball, you get it, good things happen.
One-hand jam by Jordan Seibert as he throws it down to light the fire a little bit. The Flyers, though, up by only 5, but there's Matt Cavanaugh beating the defense.
Kyrie really had his head up there as they were starting to double us a little bit. And this is a big play here. It was a no call. We needed this. Deshaun had just come off, I think, back-to-back missed free throws, so to get the dunk kind of gave some energy back into the building.
And a little showtime by Deshaun Pierre as he's able to double pump and put it over his shoulder.
Good thing is you better make it. That's the one thing about that one.
You might see that one in practice, but not too many games.
Not too many times in the game. Great inside out there.
Outside, Corey Price knocks down a 3. You go up by 10 with 5 minutes to play, but still not feeling very comfortable.
UMass has been in those games all season. They've had some miraculous comebacks, so we knew we were going to have to finish it off.
Kick in the corner. Jordan Seibert knocks down the 3. It's an 11-point lead at this point. I believe that was the largest lead of the day. V. Sanford coming off the dribble as Dayton continuing to keep the pressure on. Sanford once again.
That's probably the nail in the coffin, I thought, for us. That was a big pressure release kind of basket there.
Here they come up with a steal. They get Chaz Williams the ball inside the basket. It's a 4-point ball game. It's a 5-point game here, but here comes Williams again. It's a 3-point ball game.
They were continuing to drive. We had to keep executing press offense, and at the end of the day, had to get the right guys to the line. Thought Kyrie and Demo both did a good job.
Demo and Kyrie go to the line and knock down some free throws, and the Flyers go on to win it by the final score of 86-79. 5 guys in double figures. That doesn't happen a lot.
No, I mean, it doesn't happen a lot. UMass is a pretty high-scoring team. They give you a lot of possessions in the game with how fast they play. So we were going to have some offense. It was good to see some guys step up. I thought V was good. Jordan bounced back good off of Tuesday's game against St. Joe's. And, Kyrie, first time in a long time, we were able to see him play the way he's capable of. And he banged some big shots, 5 assists. He was very good.
You said on Tuesday in Philadelphia you don't want St. Joe's to beat you twice in a week. That didn't happen.
No, it was very, very important that as you approach late February, early March, with all that's at stake, what you don't want to have happen is a poor performance or lack thereof, a down moment kind of carry over to Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and, you don't feel right on Saturday. And we didn't do that. We didn't hang our heads. We practiced hard, we prepared, and I thought we were ready to go.
On the bad side, we do have to go back and look at that game on Tuesday night against St. Joseph's. When we return on the Archie Miller Show, we'll take you to Philly. That and more in just a couple of minutes.
Good shots. That leads to
Flyer fans, are you looking for some new gear for the games? There's no better place to look than the Corporate Casuals Fan Shop. They've reopened down on Brown Street next to BW3's, carrying the best selection and the best brands of Flyer attire for men, women, and children. They're open down on Brown Street during normal business hours, and you can also shop on the concourse at the arena during every Flyers home game. Corporate Casuals, the official outfitter of the Archie Miller Show.
Welcome back to the Archie Miller Show. And, Coach, we do have to talk about Tuesday in Philadelphia. It wasn't fun, but maybe a learning experience for you guys.
Well, I don't know how much you could have learned out of that one. There wasn't a whole lot of good from the start to the finish, and a lot of the credit goes to St. Joe's. Right now I think they've won 17 out of 20. They've only been beaten one time at home in league by St. Louis. They're probably as hot as anybody, and we caught them on a tough night. And to their credit, I thought they had a big reason why in the game it felt so funny. They were very, very aggressive, and we did not pout. And I think at the end of the day, it's probably a good thing to carry over as we moved into the UMass game, but that was not a very good performance.
All right, let's take you to Hawk Hill in Philadelphia to pick up first half action. They get started early, and ball movement was incredible.
They really had the ball moving around. Our rotations were slow, and I thought they had about 4 or 5 guys really just in attack mode. It wasn't just 1 or 2.
And there's one of them that didn't miss a shot.
Yeah, Chris Wilson went 8 for 8 in the game.
And they continue to pass it in. Ronald Roberts Jr. played really well inside.
Good player. Probably one of the more physical guys in our league. The guy that makes St. Joe's go is Khalil Kanisevic, though. He's almost like a 6'10" point guard.
First basket comes 5.5 minutes in. Then the Flyers starting to get something going a little bit as Devin Oliver knocks down a three-pointer. V. Sanford coming off the bench. The patented pull-up there in the lane. But it was an uphill battle all night long. And just passes like that just kind of were lazy.
Yeah, St. Joe's has a unorthodox way of playing. There's a lot of guys in the paint, bait you to shoot, but at the same time, they have certain guys that can really, get in passing lanes, and Bembry's very good at it.
Kari knocks down a three-pointer. It's a 10-point game. It was a double-digit lead early and just trying to battle your way into this thing. But the thing about it was, every shot that you took seemed like was a really tough challenge shot.
Yeah, they made everything very hard on, especially in and around the basket. It was very difficult. Jalen was one of the few bright spots in the game that, he actually gave us some hope that we could play him a little bit more against UMass, which was the case.
Nice pass inside. Jalen gets the basket, and the foul had 13 points to lead all Flyers in this one, and doing it off the bench was impressive. Here's Deshaun Pierre, but you notice 2 and 3 guys, and he had to work inside.
Always going to be 5 white jerseys in the paint when we play St. Joe's. That's how they decide to guard us.
Kanisevic down low and wide open.
What a great pass. Just Devin was on his return. He didn't have his sort of turned around.
That's the not happy face as you go into the locker room trailing big. And I don't know, what do you say to guys at halftime when you're down like that?
You try to get them going a little bit here. I think part of it is offensively. We were struggling at such a level making shots and scoring that, it carried over. It carried over a little bit on the defensive side of the ball. And I think, secondly, defensively, we didn't really have an answer. Just on all 5 positions they were getting us. And we tried to, change the lineup at halftime to get a little spark going or whatever, but it was all smoke and mirrors at that point. Right when the second half started again, it just wasn't going to be our night.
Well, let's get that second half started and check out the highlights. Down by 19 points at halftime. Devin Oliver comes out and knocks down a couple of shots.
Yeah, he's doing a good job. He's taking the game as it comes to him. He's taking good shots. He's, in my opinion, the most improved player in not only the Atlantic 10, but one of the most improved guys in all of college basketball.
Devin shooting the ball real well, especially from outside the arc. And here comes Scoochie Smith taking the ball to the basket.
Yeah, Scooch had a good run here in the last couple of weeks. He didn't get as much against UMass as I thought he would, but Kyrie played well, and he played better. He's getting better.
Good follow by Jalen Robinson. Jalen was in the right place at the right time several times in this game.
He went to the glass. He did it again against UMass, and that's what we talked to Jalen a lot about. You can't lose the fact that you have to rebound the ball.
Here he is shot faking from 3 and stepping inside, knocking down one from the elbow.
Yep, and it's a good shot, and I think as we keep moving down the line, if we can get more production out of him, we're going to be all right.
But as many baskets as the Flyers were making, St. Joe's was exploiting things on the other end.
Yeah, the other end. We didn't really have a whole lot of answers in terms of being able to work their ball screen coverages and stuff, and they really pinged it around, had us in rotation.
Knocking down some shots. Here they come inside one more time. That shot missed, and you push it up the court and get an easy 2 from Scoochie Smith.
Yeah, defense to offense there with a defensive rebound, one of the few opportunities we had in the game.
They were shooting the ball well. Kanisevic even steps out, knocks down a 3, and on the final scoreboard, this one goes for St. Joseph's as they win it 79-53. Jalen Robinson leads you with 13 points. Tough place to play. Hawk Hill's not one of those big arenas. It's kind of a gym.
No, it's a high school bandbox with about 3,200. Their students are in the end zone, and it's a very difficult place to play. I would imagine it's a very comfortable place to play for the home team, being that you're probably in there every day. And They played with great confidence. They're very good, and if we caught them again, we'd still have problems with them. Just from a personnel standpoint, they really have some answers on how to do some things versus us that other teams can't do.
All right, it's March. The madness is beginning. When we come back on the Archie Miller Show, we'll talk to one of the guys whose job it is to help put the NCAA tournament together. That and more in just a couple of minutes. Welcome back to the Archie Miller Show as we head down the road toward the NCAA tournament. Yesterday, one of the guys whose job it is to help put the NCAA tournament together was at the arena for the UMass game. Our John Bedell had a chance to sit down and talk with Dan Gavitt.
Thanks, Mike. We're here with Dan Gavitt. He is the NCAA Vice President in charge of the Men's Basketball Championship, the Big Dance. Dan, first of all, welcome to Dayton, and thanks for joining us this morning.
Glad to be here. Very excited about March 1st.
We'll get to the Flyers in a second, but I want to ask you first about an A-10 team not named Dayton, and that's VCU. They were here in 2011. They were part of the first field of 68. They started here, as many people know now, in the first four, made it all the way to the Final Four. What do you think that run did, Dan, to sort of solidify the legitimacy of this right out of the gate in its first year?
I think it was huge. I mean, you can't underestimate how big an impact that made in the first four concept, because this is only the fourth year of it, so it was new, it still is new. And from a competitive standpoint, from a marketing and exposure standpoint, to have a team come out of Dayton in the first four, make it all the way to the Final Four, a team, by the way, that many thought maybe should not have even been in the field, I think went a long way towards the success of this event.
From a fan perspective, an experience perspective, and from a marketing perspective, why has this event worked so well here in Dayton?
History, tradition. I mean, 101 NCAA tournament games hosted here in Dayton. It's an incredibly well-supported event. This is a college basketball community through and through, and it comes out and shines in March with first four, and with the opening round even before then. So we couldn't be happier to be here. The central location of Dayton in the country also is a factor that helps to get teams on to the second and third round from here. We're excited to be back and looking forward to coming back next year as well.
And now the question for the guy that is the liaison of the selection committee as it pertains to March 16th, Selection Sunday. This is a Dayton Flyers team that is right now fighting for its NCAA tournament lives. The question on the street from a lot of Flyers fans is, if the math shakes down in a certain way and the Flyers would be picked as an at-large team to play here in the first four, if the chips fall that way, would they be allowed to have a home game essentially here at UD Arena?
They would. The men's basketball committee has wrestled with that issue. That would not be something that would be permitted in the second or third round of the tournament. But given the unique nature of first four and wanting to protect the integrity of the seed list and the bracketing procedure, the committee has blessed that to happen. So I know that Coach Miller probably would rather even be above the first four if he had his druthers and start right in the second round somewhere. But if they're fortunate enough to be selected in the first four, they would be able to play here at UD Arena. Now, the court would look a little different. We're going to have an NCAA court, but yeah, it'd be pretty exciting for fans here for sure.
All right, Dan Gavitt, the NCAA Vice President in charge of the Men's Basketball Championship. Thanks for your time this morning.
Got to be with you. Thanks very much.
All right, Mike, back to you.
John, thank you very much. Still some work to do, but it's good to know that you can play at the arena if you get in there.
I think getting in is the most important thing, and after that, you kind of you don't worry about anything. It's one of the greatest feelings in the world for a team to make it into the March Madness. But you know, the first four is a very unique concept. It brings a lot of attention to the community. It does a lot of good for the university. And you know, if they happen to say, hey, you're in the first four and you're playing at UD Arena, obviously, you know, I think we'd take it. I don't necessarily know how much of an advantage it would be for us, you know, because I think the opponent that you'd be playing would be at high stakes as well. But part of the NCAA tournament and having fun with it is leaving home and going away and playing on a neutral site floor and being in hotels and whatnot. That's part of the fun. So I'm not sure if our guys would even leave the dorm room. I don't know how it will really work if we happen to be in the first four.
We'll think about that as the weeks go on, but right now we have to think about the Flyers going back on the road, and it's a bad time to go to St. Louis and play. We'll talk about that and more in just a couple of minutes, so don't go away. Welcome back to the Archie Miller Show, and timing is everything in basketball, and yours is not good this week because you have to go to St. Louis on Wednesday night to play the Billikens. They lost at home to Duquesne last week. They lost on the road at VCU, so senior night and a 2-game losing streak.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that go into play. I mean, you're probably dealing with one of Coach Majerus' first classes, the all-time winningest class in St. Louis history. They've had a remarkable run, and it's senior night, and they're probably a little bit disappointed and angry about how they've played the past week. So we're going to catch a good St. Louis team over there on Wednesday night. But at the end of the day, it's not about St. Louis. We've got to continue to play as hard and as well as we can possibly play as we finish up here this season.
St. Louis came to town earlier in the season and kind of put it to you as they play pretty well on the road and at home most of the time.
Well, obviously, you know, being, I think, 25 and whatever their record was, you know, before they started to lose a couple this past week, they had shown to pretty much handle everyone in the league. And, you know, they were very good that day defensively. We had a hard time scoring on them. And I thought we had just too many breakdowns just on little things to kind of hang in there with them. You know, it wasn't like it was about a 5 or 6 point game with under 2 minutes to go in the game, but they clearly were the better team that day. More physical, veteran group, and we weren't sharp enough in particular on offense.
They shoot the ball very well. There you saw Jordair Jett take it to the basket. What does he do? When you look at point guards like Chaz Williams, Jordair Jett's kind of a guy that can do a lot.
Yeah, Jordair Jett's really turned into probably one of the premier point guards in our league. He wasn't a point guard all the time, but he's about 6'2". He's about 215 pounds, and he is just a bulldozer with that ball. He's got an amazing quickness with him, and his ability to attack the paint and the rim is probably about as good as anybody in the league.
Okay, so here's what we've got. A 9 o'clock tip-off on Wednesday night in St. Louis for the Flyers, and then it's back home for Dayton's senior day. That comes your way Saturday. Is at 7 o'clock start against Richmond. You can see that game live right here on Channel 7. So we've got 2 games coming up and 2 big ones.
Yeah, 2 big ones, just like the last 2 were big, and kind of take them one day at a time, not get real caught up in the noise that's around you, surrounding the finish to the season or what this may happen. Just kind of focus in on having a great day on Monday and take it slow. It usually works out.
All right, so we've got 2 games at St. Louis and then home against Richmond. Coach.